Sergeant Gabriela Contreras of the Arizona Department of Corrections, Lewis Prison, gave up information about security violations and cell doors that would not lock properly, and she went through pure hell. God bless Gabriela Contreras. May she rest in peace. She was found dead recently, and it is being treated as a suicide with further investigation pending. It really is sad when we are told and taught to report violations, security and safety violations, and nothing is done about it. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. Now, if you think Sergeant Contreras was the first one to report these violations, wrong. We can go back 13 years to where a management found that prison cell doors were being jammed by inmates with magnets. They would take magnets from their cell phones and headphones, place them between the cell door and where it secures, and on the control room panels it would show secure. However, they were not secure, and inmates would escape from their cells, and this was 13 years ago it was reported. Sergeant Contreras reports, by exposing the poor conditions of the locks on the prison doors, the 31-year-old sergeant reported that she knows this has been a problem with not only the jamming, but the doors actually working properly for 2.5 years. But she knows of prison staff at the Arizona Department of Corrections that can tell you this has been going on since 2005. So far, the investigation has tracked this back 13 years. And the safety and security of the officers, in my opinion, I like to throw that in there in case, it's my opinion I'm giving you today, is totally ignored. What kind of management do we have here? Sergeant Contreras also reports that a year ago, the prison director of the Arizona Department of Corrections actually went to the unit, saw the problems, and said they will be fixed, and nothing was ever done. She said she had to come forward because she was sick and tired of her officers being injured, inmates escaping from their cells during feeding time, during count time, all hours of the day, and officers being injured and attacked, other inmates being injured and attacked, and she was sick and tired of it. They put her through hell. They gave her 40 hours off for leaking a video of the problem. Now, I understand we have rules and regulations. I understand that we have public information officers who are there to speak to the media. I understand all that, folks. But after all these years of management doing nothing, I commend her. I give her thumbs up for reporting this problem. She was tired of seeing her fellow officers being injured. She states that daily they did their safety and security checks and reported electronically to their chain of command cell doors not working properly, which ones were not working properly. All these things were reported and nothing was done. So when your own management does not help you, what do you do? What do you do? She became a whistleblower. Now, under federal law, there are whistleblower rights. So they gave her 40 hours off. She said she lost a promotion. She was a sergeant and she had a chance to be promoted again. She lost that. And she was intimidated, her own words, in a video she did prior to her being found dead. And she had all these things against her for telling the truth. And folks, it's not like she just decided, okay, the first day I see this is wrong, I'm going to run and be a whistleblower. It wasn't that. We're taught all the time here in Florida. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement has a very sound message. If you see a violation, you must report it. Or something wrong with policies and procedures, you must report it. Well, that's what she did and her staff did. Over and over and over, reports to the chain of command, which fell upon deaf ears. Really makes me mad, folks. Really makes me mad. I would love to go back and do an investigation over the last 5 years. We don't have to go back to the 13-year video where this was exposed. I would like to do a 5-year investigation to see how many times these managers were out on a golfing expedition and called it a meeting, or they were out at different states doing different meetings and holding conferences. Okay? Yes, I know those things are done. I know it's part of being in the management system, but while your officers are there being injured, inmates are popping out of the cells at any given moment, and you're out there being a manager, you should have been back at your prison being a manager. She also reported that they asked if we could shut down a couple of recreation programs, a few things, and use those extra officers to provide extra security during feeding time, since these cell doors did not work properly. Denied. Run business as normal is what they were told. I believe her. And what makes it even more believable is all the reports that were turned in. What makes it even more believable is management. Some of the management there in Arizona are retiring now or resigning all of a sudden. I hope that the governor of Arizona does not allow them to stop this investigation and let this be another incident that just goes on and on and on, and we don't know the truth. You know, I just can't stand it when management or the government blocks the truth. It upsets me. And this is a pet peeve with me. It's always been. That's, you know, I was promoted up a different line. I went from the uniform to probation and parole, and then from probation and parole to the prison inspector's office. I got 3 promotions. I went up this side, and I know these hard-working officers that go up from CO to sergeant to lieutenant and on went up through the side of danger and faced many problems, and they need help. I was on the floor 14 and a half years, and I was in plainclothes 14 years, a little over 14 years. So my time on the floor in my career was split 50-50. But I have friends who did all 25, 30, and 35 years on the floor. Tough job. Amen to them. Thank you for your service. And management needs to protect these people. It's just sickening. And I pray for the family of Gabriela Contreras. I commend her on her bravery and what she did. I wish she could have talked to some of us or some of her fellow officers and gotten help. I wish I could have been there to stand by her side, and I know many of our colleagues wish they could have been there to stand by her side and help her through this. She could have made it through this. She won against the entire Arizona Department of Corrections, fighting for the safety and security of her fellow officers. She was let down by prison management, and this is not acceptable. I wish we could have all been there to give her a hand and stand right behind her and hold her up tall and proud. God bless her, and our prayers are with her family. I think I've got my point across. I hope management sees what happened in Arizona and other states. And I know for a fact there's other prisons in this country with cell door problems. Cell door pops. Cell doors that show secure on the control room panel and they're not. I know the inmates are always improvising and finding ways to jam our cell doors, but first and foremost, the cell doors must work properly to even stop this problem. And then after we have the cell doors working properly, then we must work on disciplining the inmates that we catch trying to jam the cell doors. Also, by the way, just so you know, 1,000 prison doors have been repaired in Arizona so far, thanks to the bravery of Sergeant Gabriela Contreras. Let's get the rest of those cell doors fixed, not only in Arizona, but across the country. Please remember, upmost and foremost is the safety of our frontline officers, the backbone of corrections. Okay, just postpone all your golfing tournaments and your out-of-town meetings, especially now. We don't need to be traveling with the coronavirus problem. Another problem we're going to have here, and has already started in one of our prisons in the United States. Postpone that. Get back to your work on protecting our officers and do what you're paid to do and protect our correctional officers. Thank you very much, Gary York, True Prison Story.